Hello and welcome to week 2, level 2 of Simple Cooking with Heart. This week we are making lemon garlic salmon packets. Cooking fish in paper, or en papilote, is a quick and easy way to prepare fish any night of the week. You can use parchment paper like we're going to use today, or you can use foil, which also works just fine. Before we get started, we are going to go over a few guidelines for preparing and purchasing fish. When purchasing fish, you want to make sure that the fish does not smell fishy at all. You want your fish that you're buying to smell fresh and like the ocean. If it smells fishy, that indicates that there's bacterial growth. If you're buying whole fish, you want to make sure that the eyes of the fish look clear and not cloudy at all. And you want to make sure, regardless of the cut of your fish, that there's no discoloration or sliminess. When preparing your fish, as always, you want to make sure that you have a cutting board that is used specifically for the raw fish and your raw ingredients, and to not use the same cutting board for your cooked ingredients. With that, let's get started. So we're going to start off with our potatoes. I have 4 small potatoes here, but you could also use 1 large one. And we're just going to slice them into very thin slices. Now that our potatoes are sliced, I simply place them in a bowl, and I'm going to add some minced garlic and stir to combine. Now, I'm preparing the potatoes separately than the rest of the fish because the potatoes are the hardiest thing that are going into our packets. If we were going to use a less hardy vegetable, then we wouldn't have to pre-cook them, but we are going to be pre-cooking them for about 2 to 3 minutes in the microwave, just so they get a little bit softer and will cook at the same time as all of the other ingredients in our packets. All right, so now that that's combined, I'm going to cover it and place it in the microwave for 3 minutes. While that is cooking, I'm going to be preparing the salmon for our packets. In the original recipe, it calls for green beans, but we have a green bean allergy in my house, so instead we are using zucchini. So I'm going to slice up my zucchini into thin little rounds, just like the potatoes. Once your zucchini or green beans, if you're using them, if you're using green beans, actually, you want to just cut off the ends of the green beans. Make sure they're cleaned thoroughly and there's no weird spots on them. But I'm going to take my zucchini and I'm going to add it to a bowl. And then I'm going to add my par-cooked potatoes. Make sure to get all of that garlic. My salt. My pepper. Sorry, my pepper grinder is not the best, so it takes a second. Our oil, and we're gonna stir to combine. So next, I'm going to take my lemon and I'm going to slice it in half right through the middle. And then I'm going to take 1 half and I'm going to set it to the side, and then I'm going to slice the other half into very thin slices. And these are going to go on top of our salmon in the packets. So we moved on to cutting our fish. The piece that we had here was really big, so we wanted to cut it into portions. We cut this piece a little bit bigger, a little bit longer than the next 2 portions will be cut, just because this one is very thin. Instead of using a knife to cut through this section here, we use a pair of cut of kitchen shears. So that way we have a clean, even slice, even if we don't have the sharpest of knives. Next, when you're cutting in your fish into portions, you want to make sure that you are cutting in the opposite direction of this line here in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this last little section here. Using the kitchen shears helps us not to get any scales and also have just a really clean cut. Now this next step isn't as simple as some of our other steps. So if you would prefer, you can absolutely buy your salmon fillets pre-cut and pre-skinned. But I am gonna do a quick demonstration on how to crudely skin a salmon fillet. So you're gonna start by making a small incision into the flesh, stopping right before you get to the skin. You're gonna use that little piece there to hold on to, and you're going to slide your knife, make sure you have a sharp knife, right between that layer where the skin meets the flesh. We want to get as close as possible without breaking through, just so that we are getting the most out of our fish. Oop. Didn't do too great of a job on one side of that. That's okay. This is a learning space. All right, now I'm gonna save that for later. And there is one of our salmon fillets. Now that we have our vegetables all ready, we're going to begin assembling our packets. We're gonna start off by getting a good heaping spoonful of vegetables and placing it right here in the middle of our parchment. Maybe a little bit more potatoes. Next, you're going to grab a fillet and place it right on top. And it doesn't call for it in the recipe, but I think that a little bit of pepper, as well as a pinch of dried oregano, goes really well with this recipe. 2 to 3 slices of lemon. Let's do 2. And then finally, it also doesn't say this in the recipe, but I think that more lemon the better. I'm gonna give it a little squeeze of fresh lemon juice with that other lemon half that we had left. All right, now it's just time to fold. So to fold it, I'm going to bring my 2 ends here together, turn my little packet around, gonna fold them both over like this, crease it, and then fold it one more time. Next, I'm going to fold one end towards me, crease it, and then I'm going to take that end and put it underneath the vegetables. And the weight from the vegetables is gonna help that stay put. I'm gonna do the same with the other side. So fold it in towards me, so it's touching right there, and then I'm gonna fold it underneath the vegetables. So I'm gonna take this whole packet like so, and I'm going to place it on my baking sheet. And I'm gonna do one more, and then I'll place them in my 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. You could, as I mentioned before, you could also do this packet with foil. It would be a little bit easier, but I wanted to show how to do it in paper or in paplote. All right, I will finish this up and I will see you in about 20 minutes. And here is our finished lemon garlic salmon packet. Enjoy.